Hello, my name is Gaida AL-madhoun. My student number is 2202132272. Today, I'm going to talk about the American Revolutionary War, one of the most transformative and important events in world history. This war was not considered just a major step toward the development of democracy. It was a profound shift in the idea of self-governance. When we look back at it, the American Revolutionary War wasn't just a series of bloody battles fought on open fields. It was truly the birth of a nation forged in the fires of conflict and the pursuit of liberty. It challenged the global status quo and reshaped how people viewed the relationship between a government and its citizens. Before the first shots were fired, there was a long brewing period of intense political and economic tension. After the 7 Years' War, which left Great Britain victorious but financially drained, Britain found itself heavily in debt and began imposing heavy taxes on the American colonies. As you can see on the timeline, it all started with the Stamp Act, which taxed everyday paper items. This led to the famous cry, "No taxation without representation." They believed it was unfair to be taxed by a parliament in London where they had no voice. Tensions quickly boiled over into violence. In March 1770, they witnessed the Boston Massacre, where British soldiers fired into an angry crowd. Then, in December 1773, the famous Boston Tea Party took place as a direct protest against the tea tax, where colonists dumped crates of tea into the harbor, eventually leading to the Intolerable Acts in 1774, where Britain tried to crush the spirit of Massachusetts and isolate it, but instead it united the colonized together in shared defense. Everything changed on April 19, 1775, in the small towns of Lexington and Concord. This is where the first shots were fired. An event we call the shot heard down the world. This was the point of no return. Peace was no longer an option. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the Second Continental Congress quickly formed and united the colonies. They established the Continental Army and appointed George Washington as the commander-in-chief of the Continental Forces. Washington was the man tasked with an almost impossible mission, turning farmers and merchants into a professional fighting force. By July 1776, the colonized decided to make it official and legal. They realized they didn't just want better treatment or lower taxes, they wanted absolute independence. On July 1776, the Continental Congress formally adopted the Declaration of Independence. This powerful document completely transformed the conflict from local rebellion into a national revolution. It gave the entire movement a clear, noble purpose rooted in human rights. Early victories like Siege of Boston in March 1776 gave the Americans the momentum they desperately needed to face the most powerful empire, proving that victory was actually possible. Every war has a turning point, and for the Americans, it was the historic victory at Saratoga. This victory was crucial because it proved to the world that the Americans could actually win. France joined the world as an ally. This shifted the conflict from colonial civil war into an international struggle. Now, let's look at the climax of the war, the Siege of Yorktown. If you look at the diagram, you will see how a perfect strategic trap was created in 1781. Washington and the French army trapped Cornwallis on land. At the same time, the French navy cut off any escape by sea. And on October 19, 1781, Cornwallis surrendered. This was effectively the end of the major fighting. The war was officially ended with the Treaty of Paris on September 1783. This treaty brought the vision of a new nation through three major outcomes. Independence recognized. Britain formally acknowledged the United States as a free and independent nation. Vast territory ceded. All lands east of the Mississippi River were transferred to the Americans. Sovereign nation. The United States officially stands on the global stage as a free, sovereign, and independent republic. This victory was possible thanks to leaders like Washington, the brilliant diplomacy of Benjamin Franklin, and the vision of Thomas Jefferson. The legacy of this revolution is profound. It created a federal republic based on the consents of the governed, and served as a global inspiration for independence movement everywhere. It literally redrew the map of the world. In conclusion, the story of the American Revolution is not just about the past. It's about the power of an idea that once seemed impossible. We have seen how political protest transformed into full independence, and how volunteer army stood against the world's greatest empire through faith and leadership. The most important lesson we learn today is that when people unite behind the values of liberty and justice, they can truly change the course of the history. Thank you so much for your time.